Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh man, this is an absolute disaster for the Democrat Party. Remember maybe a week ago we were covering that Axios focus group that targeted swing voters in Arizona? And according to the report, supposedly 100% of them supported Donald Trump. Well, we've got an update on that focus group. It's no longer just a report, we have the actual clip, the released video of the focus group conducted. We got the full clips and the internet is reacting, and of course, CNN's also reacting. CNN's Dana Bash of all people. And well, let's just say her face says it all. You can see the panic setting in as these leftoid talking heads realize that they've completely lost control. The Democrats have spent years brainwashing themselves into thinking that they're the ones who are winning over the independents, right? We all remember early in 2024, CNN and all their election analyst experts kept going on and on about how Donald Trump could never win independents. His biggest problem was independence. But it seems as though independents and swing voters are actually very much in support of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and what they're currently doing. The media is in full-blown meltdown mode as reality starts to settle in. I think they're finally realizing that millions of voters have completely abandoned them. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so let's first start off with this clip right over here. Just take a look at this and specifically focus on Dana Bash's reaction.
Talked to some Arizona voters who switched from voting for Joe Biden in 2020 to Trump in 2024, and so far, they mostly like what they see.
I just think he's trying to get America back on track as quickly as possible, given the state that it was left in from the previous administration.
It feels more merit and transparency.
I approve of a lot of the stuff that he's doing with the border and everything.
He's put other countries on notice that were to be taken seriously.
For the most part, I feel like he's on the right track by keeping transgenders out of women's sports. That's number one.
All 11 Biden-Trump voters say they approve of Donald Trump's first weeks in office. What we are seeing right now is what Donald Trump campaigned on.
Right.
We've said that umpteen times now in the past 4 weeks. What he didn't campaign on was the Elon Musk of it all. Elon Musk would be going in and the person with his team doing this and doing this at the pace with which they are moving. Jonas G., he is one of those Biden to Trump voters, said about that. Doesn't seem that concerned.
He's moving fast to dismantle the corruption, which there's so much of it. Everywhere he turns, there's stuff that they have to take out. Went to one agency and what, 80%, 90% of that agency's been spending stuff that nobody would approve of.
I want you to talk about that, Isaac, but then just that last part. 80 to 90% of the agency spending stuff nobody would approve of. We don't know that because there's no accountability. Maybe at the end of the day, once we can actually look at it, perhaps that's going to be right. But we have no idea, which also speaks to the fact that there is such a fractured media consumption environment that is getting even more so. We don't know. Jonas G. is listening to, they said at the beginning, some mainstream media, but who knows where this information is coming from.
Oh, they're so freaking out, and isn't it glorious? And you could really tell by the question that she's asking. She's asking, where are these voters getting their information from? As if that's the problem. Not the fact that Democrats have completely alienated normal Americans with their complete insanity. One of the voters mentioned how 90% of government agencies are wasting money on stupid crap, and Dana flips out, questioning where this guy is getting his news from. Of course, she's implying that he must be one of those ignorant Trump voters getting scammed and misinformed by all the fake news online, when in reality, it's obvious that he's just being hyperbolic to make the point. And anyway, the real number might as well be as high as 90%, because if you ask me, at least in my personal opinion, I think government should be issuing passports and licenses and not much else. But at the end of the day, it's obvious that Dana Bash can't come to grips with the cold, hard truth that voters aren't buying into the mainstream media and their bogus narratives anymore. Yet she still seems to be operating with this incredible, unjustified, unfounded arrogance, as if voters who are getting their information from alternative news sources are somehow being misled. She's pretending that her lies are the truth and that the focus group is just being brainwashed by all the fake news out there, instead of accepting the fact that swing voters are abandoning ship. And that seems to be what most of the data is telling us. But of course, Democrats just don't want to accept it. No, they'd rather stick their head in the sands and just continue cherry-picking the data. Like today, for instance, a new Gallup poll drops, and the left is so incredibly tunnel-visioned on it. The numbers show Donald Trump's approval rating at 45%, which is honestly a shocking drop from the last Gallup poll that was released. But Democrats, I mean, they're running with this one. They keep posting it all over social media, I guess thinking it nullifies all the other numbers. Typical leftist delusion, right? Ignore all the polls that are showing one thing and just hyperfixate on the one outlier that confirms your bias. But something about this poll just seems off. I mean, usually Gallup is pretty good, but this time, I mean, the numbers just aren't adding up. Supposedly in this poll, Donald Trump is down 17 points with independent voters. Yeah, I'm just not seeing that. I don't know where they're getting these independent voters. Maybe they're San Francisco independents. But that's not the only red flag. This is another one. Just take a look at the issues. Donald Trump supposedly is underwater on every major issue. Immigration, foreign affairs, the economy, foreign trade, the situation in Ukraine, the situation in the Middle East between Israel and the Palestinians. He's in the 40s supposedly across the board. Yeah, something seems fishy. If we just quickly compare that to what we saw from Marquette University, which actually ABC covered a couple days ago.
Donald Trump's favorability rating is actually higher than it ever was the first time around. Let me ask you, a recent poll by Marquette looked at several of the things that he has done or says that he is going to do, and 63% favor federal government's recognition of only two sexes, 60% favor deporting immigrants who entered the United States illegally, 60% favor expanding oil and gas production, 59% favor declaring an emergency at the southern border.
Yeah, something's not tracking. Let's put the numbers side by side here. They're not talking about all the same issues, but there are some things we could compare. For instance, approval of Donald Trump's handling of immigration, Gallup is saying is at 46%, yet Marquette shows 60% approval for Donald Trump's mass deportation program. It makes no sense, and traditionally, Donald Trump has maintained strong support on his immigration policies. But in this case, we've got the left-wing Marquette poll that usually is very not favorable for Donald Trump, showing the most controversial element of his immigration policy at 60%, yet Gallup has him underwater as a whole on immigration. Absolutely no way not buying this. And really, the independent thing is also another major red flag. I don't see how Donald Trump could be flipping Biden voters at the rate that he did it, with his approval rating spiking through the roof in the high 50s, basically across the board with so many of these polling outlets. We got this focus group with swing voters in Arizona giving Donald Trump a 100% approval rating, although be it it's a small sample size and they are Trump voters, but still, that just doesn't track, in my mind, with a negative 17 rating among independents. I think the numbers are far greater than even the higher numbers that are being presented to us. I think honestly there's probably a big disconnect between what a lot of these legacy pollsters are doing and what you're actually seeing on the ground when you actually speak to people, and to me that's what this focus group represents. I think this is the general sentiment that most people are feeling. Clearly the left-wing rhetoric is falling flat. The mainstream media narratives that they're attempting to push are not working, and we definitely saw that in the focus group. I think most people are frankly ecstatic that the President of the United States is actually delivering on key promises that people care about, and that reality, I think, just slapped the mainstream press right in the face, and that's a beautiful thing now, isn't it? Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.